In this clip, Dr. Roger and I are discussing that veterinarians make a lot of money, and I say it's justified. Roger lies that he was in a hard program too, and admits that he doesn't make much money. The facts are that Roger skated along in a non-existent program while he partied many nights per week, and if he actually worked, he could make a lot of money.
I mean, I can't begrudge them. They're in a rough program, and it is hard to get people to pay money for animal care, and I don't know. They need to make money, too.
Yeah, I get that as well. Then again, I was in a hard program, too, and I don't make shit.
Yeah.
My program is about 3 years longer than everybody else's, and I'm barely scraping by. So,
Yeah.
I have a tremendous amount of sympathy for that. She's making a hell of a lot more than I am.
Yep.
So he doesn't have a lot of sympathy for someone that works 50 or 60 hours a week, even though he hasn't worked. I don't know. I don't even know if at this point if he has worked at all for the last several years, like at all. In this clip, Roger and I are discussing the state of Dad's house. Roger says that he is becoming more accustomed to filth. He used to be more like Mom. He wanted everything clean and pretty organized. But as each year passes by, he quit dusting, doesn't run the vacuum, or clean the bathroom. He is caring less and less as each year passes by. The fact is that he liked his place the way that Mom used to keep it, clean and organized. Now that her health is not so good, the responsibility of cleaning is more on him. Mom probably still comes over and cleans, but not as often. At this point in time, Mom and Joe are still buying Dr. Roger's groceries and they carry them in and put them away for him. Joe has complained to me about this, and I believe I have a recording of Joe complaining.
Whatever. I mean, I have a lot of clutter, but I could not stand to live in the filth that he lives in. Yep. Oh, well.
I'm becoming more accustomed to filth. Again, little by little, I'm starting to see how this is all possible. I used to be a lot more like Mom. Like, I wanted everything clean and pretty organized, but as each year passes by, I'm like, I quit dusting. Like, I rarely dust anymore unless somebody's coming over and I gotta do some quick stuff. I very seldom run the vacuum cleaner. I don't clean my bathroom very often. It's just like, all right, I'm starting to become like Dad here, but not to the point where there's crap all over the place. I haven't gotten there yet. I don't think I'll ever get there, but who knows? I am caring less and less about some of these things as time goes by. My personality kind of changes.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed. It's always been the same. It's just that Mom isn't healthy enough to keep his place the way that she used to. In this clip, Roger states that he is withdrawing from society and stays in his condo, which again, other than his partying in college, that's about the way he's been his entire life. He doesn't have motivation to go out and do anything, which has been the case since he was born. His making it through his PhD program was totally Mom's effort and doing.
I find that I'm becoming more like that all the time. Withdrawing a lot from society, and I spend most of my time in my place here. Not a healthy way to live, but I just don't have a lot of motivation to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I can totally understand that from his perspective.
I questioned Dr. Roger about Mom's estate. She hasn't talked to me about that. Dr. Roger acts like he has no idea what Mom has in her will. Mom told me that Dr. Roger is Mom's executor. Dr. Roger is an excellent con artist. Dodges the subject and changes it to making funeral arrangements. He knows the answers to all my questions. He just isn't going to tell me. I mentioned that I don't know why Mom is giving money away to other people. Dr. Roger is very vague at this point about Mom's estate. He knows there is plenty of money, what Mom has set aside for he and Dr. Lori, and that she is planning on leaving me virtually nothing.
Well, do you have any idea what inheritance we're going to get, if anything? I mean, Mom's never talked to me about that.
I'm sure it would vary greatly depending upon whether Joe dies first or whether Mom dies first.
Well, I would assume that she has something set up for us.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is. She's, as diligent as she is about wills and everything, I'm sure she's got those all squared away and everything. And I don't know, I have no idea what the details are, but I'm sure she's got us all taken care of.
Well, she told me at one point you were her executor or something like that.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be the one that takes care of things. If she dies, I got to make all the funeral arrangements and everything. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how to do that. But I don't know. I figure I'll just call Don whenever that happens because he'll know what to do.
Oh well. I just don't know if we're gonna get anything. I mean, I don't understand why she's giving away money to other people. I think she would want to leave it to her kids, but
Yeah. So that's in reference to the scholarship, mainly, that she's giving a lot of money away to. So Roger is very vague. Mom has some grand plan to split her money 3 ways between us. Roger is clear that Mom will divide her estate between us 3 kids. Roger continues that if Mom dies before Joe, we are all screwed. That statement alone indicates there is a lot more that Dr. Roger knows than he is telling me. He says whatever is Mom's will go to Joe, and Joe will leave his estate to his biological son John. Roger told me later in a face-to-face conversation at his condo that Mom and Joe were going to disperse their estate early because John was getting 40% of the business, and to keep it fair, they were going to divide a large percentage of their estate between us 3 kids. Mom surely doesn't want her portion of the estate going to Joe and eventually to John.
I don't know, though. I mean, like I said, I'm sure Mom has something worked out, some grand plan of whatever she has, whatever her is in existence for her own funding. Well, I'm sure will get split up 3 ways to us. But, I don't know. Like I said, the big thing would be what happens, which one of them dies first, if Joe or if it's Mom. If Mom dies before Joe, I think we're screwed. That's going to be a total, I don't know, that'll be really fucked up. Because I think Joe would be, Joe, whatever is Mom's would probably go to Joe. And who knows what the hell he's going to do if that's the case. And I'm sure he's planning to leave most of his estate to John, I would imagine. So, which, I mean, I don't blame him, but,
He's crafty at the end when I say, well, I'm understanding that Joe would leave the money to his son. Roger's like, well, I wouldn't blame him. In this clip, I questioned Dr. Roger. Is Mom still donating to the scholarship fund? He doesn't know what her donorship status is, but he is on the committee for that. Mom asked him to be on it. That doesn't really make sense. How can he be on the committee for that and not know that? I ask about details. Roger doesn't know. He thinks Mom and Joe are the major contributors. The recipients receive a scholarship that pays their tuition. I have told Mom that I want to go back to school, and she doesn't offer any assistance with that at all. So she is going to help someone she doesn't know go to school, and she is not even going to help her own child. Dr. Rogers' response is, well, and he chuckles under his breath and says, I don't know. Again, this is the covert part of Mom's malignant narcissistic personality. She is this great donor and contributor with Joe's money. She is so generous with this fund and donating at church. When we were growing up, we didn't go to church. I remember clearly when I was a young child, Mom saying that religion is for people with weak minds. Those are her words, not mine.
Or do other people?
I mean, it's set up as some kind of fund. I don't know what exactly the details of the fund are, if it earns interest or not, but yeah, it's from, contributions from the family that probably are mostly Mom and Joe. I thought was maybe donating to it as well. I don't know. And maybe the college is donating, is matching some funds. But I don't know the details of how it works. But I do know that it's in place, and that they do have recipients each year that receive this scholarship to pay for their tuition. I mean, the money is going to these students. Like, it's not going to for something like that.
No, I don't think that. But I mean, I don't understand why Mom's worried about that. I mean, when Amy was contributing, she had extra money to do that. But I mean, Mom does have some money, but I've told her I want to go back to school, and she doesn't offer any assistance with that. I'm like, so you're going to send somebody you don't even know to school, and you're not going to help out your own child.
Well, I don't know.
He doesn't have an answer for that yet. He is working on one. This is the second time that I ask about college assistance. I ask if Mom has mentioned anything about my request to go back to school. I would like to take a writing class and study Japanese, and she doesn't respond. Why is she sending money for other people to go to college and doesn't help her own son? At this point in the conversation, Dr. Roger has composed his semi-derogatory answer. Raj says that she would probably be responsive if I actually did something about it, went and enrolled somewhere. He is such a con artist. He can come up with an unrealistic response that sounds convincing right off the top of his head. Why would it be so difficult for Mom to say, "Sure, Steve, I will help you if you want to go back to school"? If I did go enroll somewhere, she might offer some assistance. Certainly nothing like what Roger and Lori got, with a full ride and all expenses paid. In reality, Roger has a lot of nerve saying that, as Mom totally handed Dr. Roger his education on a platter. She bought his condo, took care of his vehicles and all his expenses, cleaned his condo, bought his food and put it all away, bought his books and everything else involved in his education. All the while, he spent his spare time partying at the bars and scamming the girls at college that he was not supposed to due to fraternization policies of the university. Mom doesn't even respond to my requests for help with school.
I don't know. Has Mom ever mentioned that I've asked her a couple times about going back to school?
No, she's never said anything about it.
I don't know. She just basically doesn't respond. I'd like, there's couple of things I'd like to do. I'd like to take a writing class and maybe go study Japanese. She just doesn't even respond, but she's sending money off to some people she doesn't even know. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure she would be responsive if you actually did something about it. If you went and enrolled somewhere and wanted to take a class, she'd probably offer to pay for it. I think she probably just figures you're not going to do it.
Coming up are two contradictory clips that show Dr. Roger's true colors. Basically, the first clip is early in the conversation, and Dr. Roger is grateful for all Joe has done for us. The second clip is from later in the conversation, where he says that he hopes Joe dies soon. The clip starts with Roger saying that the scholarship is not going to get dissolved. Roger says Joe has always been very supportive to us. He didn't have to be. Joe is not exactly a model citizen in every way. Joe has been extremely supportive of Dr. Roger. Every cell in Roger's body has been paid for by Joe. Joe has paid for absolutely everything for Roger for the past 35 years. His cars, condo, utilities, all expenses, all his food, including food brought into his condo by Mom, all his meals out, and money to spend at the bars several nights per week. In addition, most of the income that Roger showed during his lifetime was Joe's money that Mom embezzled and deposited into an account for Roger to show that he had some income. The IRS will show very little income from Dr. Roger at any time in his life from any kind of a job. The most he ever worked was very part-time in high school. In this early part of the conversation, Roger is saying how Joe has been generous and taking care of us.
I don't know, whatever. I'm sure that's not going to get dissolved. There's no way. No, Mom and Joe or Mom and Steve and Barb all on board with that.
Well, I doubt that Joe really wants to contribute money to someone else's education.
I doubt it too. It's amazing what he does support.
Yeah.
I mean, really, for all of Joe's faults, I got to give him credit for, he's always been very supportive of you and me and, I don't know, helping us out with whatever. From my perspective, anyway. Pretty much anything I've ever asked him for help with, he's helped me. Well, he certainly didn't have to. He never had to, he could have been a total asshole to all of us growing up, but he helped us out with cars and all kinds of stuff. So, I know he's not exactly not necessarily a model citizen in every way, but whatever.
This really puts things in perspective and shows Roger's true character. After everything Joe has given Roger and all of it he's done for Roger, Dr. Roger hopes that Joe kicks off one of these days and dies first. Roger even says that this is dishonorable of him. At least he's aware of that.
Sort of dishonorable of me to admit this, but I'm sort of hoping, Joe just kicks off one of these days and dies first. Make things a whole lot easier.
In these recordings, he clearly does not care about Joe or Mom. He just cares about himself and the girls that he can scam into his condo for sex. In this next clip, Roger is using a Darbo tactic. Roger deflects my question and says he doesn't think so to getting anything from Mom's mother, Grammy's estate, which was probably $40,000 or more per person. Interestingly, he remembers $1,000 that we are supposed to get from Dad's mom's estate. Jim told me in a discussion we had while walking around a lake in a park that he and Lori had been given mutual funds or stocks that were of sizable value from her estate. I got absolutely nothing. Jim was bragging that he and Lori made $10,000 per week in their combined salaries. My theory is that Grammy's estate was divided three ways. 1/3 was given to Roger and 2/3 to Dr. Lori and Dr. Jim. Mom has always paid Lori's boyfriends and husband to stay with her. Jim also told me during this conversation that Lori never wanted to be a doctor. He also told me that Lori always got $100 on my birthday to keep it even. I have never gotten any money on Lori or Roger's birthdays. Jim is a brilliant doctor and a brilliant man. He probably has a photographic memory. I think this conversation that we had was to see what I was aware of and how I would react to such news. I'm sure he was studying something in my reactions. The news about my grandmother's estate was quite disturbing to me. I had been close to my grandmother for many years when my sister had nothing to do with her. My grandmother was the mother that I never really had for more than 2 months every year growing up. She treated us kids fairly and didn't do any of the horrible narcissistic things to me that my mother did as a child the rest of the year. I visited my grandmother at least 2 times per year for 26 years after high school until she died. One time was always on her birthday. I helped her get a couple cars and several computers. I taught her how to use email, which almost no one of her age did at that time. She was an amazing, multifaceted woman who was just as comfortable picking blueberries in a swamp or hiking in the woods as she was mingling with high society at plays and dinner clubs. She was a fantastic cook and seamstress. Anything that was permissible or expected of a woman during her lifetime, she excelled at.
Did you get any money or stocks or anything from Grammy's estate?
I don't think so. Doesn't mean I didn't. I don't remember anything coming from them.
At some point, Jim told me they got a substantial amount of stocks when Grammy died. I got zero. I got absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I don't remember anything like that.
I mean, she was bragging 4 or 5 years ago that they were making $10,000 a week. Like, well, I don't even make that in a year.
Off of what? From
Well,
their job?
That's their combined salaries,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know why Mom would give them a bunch of stocks from Grammy's estates.
Yeah, I don't know if that happened or not. I don't think I got anything from that. I don't think I would have forgotten that. I did get that little whatever from Dad that came from Grammy. So that,
Yeah.
$1,000 or whatever that was.
Yeah, I got that.
Thought there were supposed to be more of those coming along, but nothing has so far.
And Dad said something about there's some final settlement that's supposed to come. But, oh well.
In this clip, Dr. Roger complains that Joe is driving Mom to an early grave. She is so aggravated by him every day. He doesn't know how Mom can put up with that every day. Mom always complains about Joe and his ADD. She won't be able to change him. Roger's original idea was way back before they sold the old house. So this has been a problem for a very long time. In reality, Mom has always hated Joe. Mom is an absolute clean freak. She has spent a large portion of her life cleaning her house and Roger's condo. She probably also cleaned Lori's condo. She has cleaned Dr. Lori's house many times when Lori had problems with various house cleaning people. She complained about Joe and his filth when he first started living in our house in 1980. She would complain that the sheets on his side of the bed were brown in a few days, so she had to wash their bedding often, versus weekly for us kids. Within a few weeks of Joe starting to live in our house, Mom started degrading him in front of us, like she used to do to Dad. Dr. Roger states that Mom still complains about Joe as much as ever.
I think he's a lot of what's driving Mom to an early grave. She's so aggravated by him just every day. I don't know how the heck you could stand to put up with that just year after year.
Yeah, that would suck.
I mean, that's all she talks about. She comes over here and we start talking about anything at all. It's just like, oh, Joe's doing this and this and he's always doing this and it's all of this ADD. That's the problem. It's all of his ADD. I'm like, Mom, you're not going to change that. I'm not even arguing with you that he may have ADD. I'm sure he does, but you're not going to change it. So you keep trying to change everything. It's just an exercise in futility. So, let it go. You got two choices. You can live with him the way he is, or you can get a divorce, or if you'd taken my original idea for the two of you to live in separate residences before you sold the old house, that would have been great. They probably would have had a pretty good relationship then if they just lived in separate places.
Well, they still can get far enough apart from each other in this house that they're in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I think that probably helps.
I don't know why they don't just do that. Mom should just let Joe have the upstairs, and she can have the downstairs and get away from him.
Right. Yeah.
Make some dinner and then go downstairs, and you don't have to deal with him.
Yeah. And actually, I haven't talked to her about that. I don't know if she's doing that or what. I don't know how they live or what they do, what their routine is. I just know she still complains about him as much as ever.
Yeah, I know.
So most of these clips are from a conversation I had with Roger, Dr. Roger, on May 2nd, 2015, which was about a year before Dad's untimely death. This was at 9:12 p.m. we had this conversation. In this part of the conversation, Roger is trying to talk me into getting heartworm medicine for his dog. Mosquitoes come up. He's been out at dusk a couple times on dates, and the mosquitoes are horrible. Dr. Roger is trying to lure women into his condo for sex. Some of them are probably hesitant, causing them to get eaten alive by mosquitoes. This is Dr. Rogers' life. He does literally nothing except 1, stay in his condo, 2, scam women on online dating sites and lure them to his condo to have sex, and 3, walk his dog to the park. He has told me in the past that he was going international, which he described as trying to have sex with a woman from every country. So in some cases, he has likely convinced women to fly to visit him in the pretext of dating a successful doctor, just to lure them in for sex and send them home empty-handed. It would be very interesting to look into his online dating profiles. He has been doing this for decades. In the past, he has had no intention of ever getting married and likely still doesn't. Dr. Rogers is extremely predatory, and this demonstrates Dr. Rogers' predatory side very well. He started his illegal predatory activities when he was 18 years old and pulled cute girls over pretending to be a police officer, which she was arrested and put in jail for. And that was a felony.
I know there are quite a lot of mosquitoes around here, though. But mainly just like at dusk. I'm not out there too often then. I have been out there a couple times, like on dates and something. God, that was a disaster. Just to get eaten alive. But
Dr. Roger is trying to get flea and heartworm preventative from a friend of mine that is a veterinarian. One of his few activities is walking his dog to the park every day.
all right. Really, I'm not worried about any of it. The only thing, I mean, generally, all I do is walk her to the park every day and back, and she's on a leash, and every once in a blue moon, I'll let her off the leash to play with some dog, but not very often. And I don't know. She could eat something, or when that's happening, or get exposed to something from the other dog, I suppose. But generally, she doesn't get a whole lot of exposure to much of anything.
Well, if she's playing with another dog, she can pick up fleas.
Yeah.
In this clip, Dr. Roger and I are discussing Mom's health. She has some problem that causes pain. She has to stay on prednisone to control the pain. Prednisone is very bad to be on long term, as it tends to pull calcium out of bones, making them brittle and speeding up osteoporosis. Dr. Roger incorrectly says that the prednisone is pulling the marrow out of the bones 2 different times. I am no doctor and no specialist on this, but I correct Dr. Roger on this the second time he says it. Dr. Roger complains that Mom never takes it easy to let her body recover. Part of the reason for that is that Mom is very busy taking care of Dr. Roger and doing work that he can take credit for. Dr. Roger needs to be cross-examined by a sharp doctor to reveal how little he actually knows about his field of expertise. He knows enough to fool the average person, but he makes a lot of mistakes about medical stuff as well as things that the average person has actually worked would know. I think people tend to give Roger the benefit of the doubt and think to themselves, oh, I know what he meant. Dr. Roger is a very talented and entertaining storyteller, a skill he honed during his 16 years out at strip clubs and bars during his college. Most people, including myself, are not likely to interrupt what he is saying to clarify or correct something he has said that is incorrect.
It wouldn't be surprising to me. I mean, whatever this thing is that gave her is pretty nasty, and it's unfortunate that she has to be on this prednisone forever.
I'm trying to get her I'm trying to convince her to get off of it. It's gonna kill her pretty soon, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, prednisone is just sucking all the marrow out of her bones, and she's becoming extremely osteoporotic. I don't know. I mean, if she stays on it much longer, she's going to just simply fracture a hip or something walking along. And as soon as that happens, that's going to be the end of it. She's going to be screwed.
Yeah.
But she keeps going and going and going and never resting at all and never recuperating. And I'm like, you need to just slow down. Relax a little bit. You know?
And this is the second one.
Yeah. So, I mean, my theory on that is that, you know, you're going to have some of that. It's just like working out. You know, if you work out or something, you've got that lactic acid build up a couple days later, and your muscles are sore. It's like, yeah, you know, they're sort of healing, or they're compensating. They're making up for working out that You just gotta kind of put up with that a little bit. Eventually, I think it'll go back down if she can just stick with it and put up with the pain for a while.
Right.
But like I said, it doesn't help that she keeps running around doing 100 million things all day long, every day, and never really resting.
Right.
To some extent, I think that's good for her just because of her personality. It's good for her to keep busy and keep doing something. Kind of like Grammy, she'll just keep going and going and going as long as she's got something to do. I don't really think she would do all that well in a setting where she can't do anything. But again, that's where she's going to be if she breaks a hip, because this stuff's sucking all the marrow out of her bones.
It's really sucking the calcium out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, let's get our terms right, Dr. Raj. In this clip, Dr. Roger is talking about the 2 times that he visited Dad recently. I believe these are the only 2 times Dr. Roger has ever been to Dad's house. Dad has owned his house for about 20 years. These visits were primarily to gather information and to comfort Dad as his estranged family moved in for the kill. Dr. Roger talks about spending 8 hours clearing a 6-foot path in Dad's house. That is ridiculous. I could have done more work in 20 minutes. Dad was a hoarder and had paths to walk between his belongings. I went to Dad's after Dr. Roger claimed to have spent 8 hours working at Dad's and noticed no difference in the condition of anything. I took pictures at that time and had some pictures from visits before Roger started communicating with Dad. Roger spent that time buttering Dad up and collecting information that he needed, including how Dad's will was made out, how was Uncle Larry's cancer doing, how was Uncle Larry's will made out, how much was Uncle Larry's estate worth. Larry kept that information very private, but likely shared it with Dad. It would have been easy for Dr. Roger to extract that information. Dad was so happy to have contact with Roger after all these years. I wasn't interested in that information and never asked. I enjoyed time with Dad and Larry, and had no reason to ask about those things. Dad did volunteer in 2008 that Larry was leaving his estate to me, but that I was not to discuss that with anyone, including Larry. Dad then regularly volunteered information to me about things that Larry liked or disliked about me. One time I asked one of Larry's neighbors if I could connect to their internet. For some reason that Larry didn't like that. There were 1 or 2 other things that he complained about to Dad, but they were minor and I can't remember what they were. Larry was very happy that I was honest with him. There were a couple times that I told Larry things about himself that he said no one else was willing to say. One time I took my dog Levi for a walk as Larry went jogging. Larry was surprised that I could keep up with him just walking fast. The truth was that Larry's jogging was more up and down and he really didn't move very fast over the ground. He made some comment at that time that I was the only person to be honest with him about that. There were many other things. He and I enjoyed time together and had many similar interests.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit it was a demoralizing process. It took me like 8 hours to clear a 6-foot path that you could kind of move around in. It was just like, God. But if you had nothing else to do and all day long to do it, it's just like, just do something. Just push it out under your steps or something. I don't know.
The only difference between Dad and Raji are that Mommy does all of Roger's cleaning and organizing for him, and Dad doesn't have that. Otherwise, Roger would be exactly the same. In this clip, Dr. Roger is giving Dad advice on what to do. He doesn't offer to help Dad, he just tells him what to do. I moved stuff for Dad many times. He had a tendency to set things down on the stairs, which were right inside the front door. He would also set things down just inside the door, and sometimes it would overflow onto his porch. When I stopped by, I would just ask Dad if he minded if I moved stuff that he wasn't going to use for a while and put it in the bedrooms upstairs. Within a few minutes, I would have the stairs cleared off and the excess clutter cleared away from around the front door. It was so easy to just do it, but Dr. Roger is used to having Mom do everything for him, so he is not used to doing anything. He was surely incapable of helping Dad out.
I mean, it sounded simple enough. Like I was, last time I was out there, I was telling them, I was just moving some of these cans out to that little barn. You got nothing else to do. That's all you got to do. You just pick them up, take them out, and throw them in the barn. Every box of this stuff that you carry out there, it gives you a little more space in here. That's a really good idea. Like last time I checked with him, he'd moved a grand total of 2 boxes up there. Like 3 weeks later. Yeah, right. So you have nothing to do, but you won't do that. You're complaining about how bad it is in your place because you can't move around, you can't get at anything. Like, all right, yeah. So what is the hang-up between doing something about it and relieving the symptoms of your depression? I don't know.
Yeah. So, Raj can tell Dad what to do, but can't help him. Yeah, I don't know. In this clip, Dr. Rogers complaining about aches and pains that he has. He emphasizes that he does nothing at all. This is probably why he's in bad shape. A lifetime of doing nothing at all.
Well, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I'm like falling apart. But different injuries every day that I just never heal. Doing nothing. I mean, I'm not doing anything at all. Just my shoulders always hurt. My forearms got several muscles are pulled in there. My hips and ankles and just everything. Neck, back.
Probably be very helpful if you had a job or did something besides walk the dog to the park, sleep, and scam women.